Hi, everybody. I had somebody ask me on Instagram to talk about how people can access subtle energy in their own lives. And this is kind of a big discussion. There's a lot to go on here with this topic. And I thought it was fascinating. So I do want to do a little bit of information around how can you access it, even if you don't have training. So usually what happens is people are either born automatically feeling connected to the subtle energy or being aware of it, or they get some sort of an attunement or activation so that they are it's almost like it activates or tunes your body into a specific frequency so that you can transmit it or channel it is what they often call it. So with reiki, for example, it's called an attunement, and it allows you, when you get a reiki attunement, it allows you to bring the energy through, and it's like you're channeling the energy and it comes through you. And then when that happens, you receive healing, and then you're also giving healing at the same time. It's a really beautiful process. With other things, you might get more of what they call an activation. And from what I understand, it's a bit of a different process. With Reiki, it's like you're opening up the channels, the ability to bring forth an energy. With an activation, you become a transmitter. That's what my guides say the difference is. So I have a modality called holistic metamorphosis. And in that, it's a very angelic type of presence, but it also works with the order of Melchizedek. And it brings forth a specific frequency that you need to activate and transmit from yourself to others. So it's almost like you become the beacon of it, and then you transmit it to others. So there are different ways to activate that ability within yourself. And you don't always need to take a class. Some people, it just naturally activates, but you have to be in the right mindset. So there are certain things to keep in mind when you're doing this. First thing is presence. You need to be able to have a certain presence about you, to feel connected to the all that is, to feel connected to God, whatever it is you want to call that. And there are so many different lineages of energy healing. So if you feel more of the Christian faith, or that maybe is your foundation, there are plenty of Christian healers out there, and you might access that healing ability in a slightly different way. But it's all valid, it's all accurate, it's all good. So you can be of the presence, be so connected to God, be so connected to the all that is, or the one true creator, whatever you want to call that. And you can ask for healing abilities to be brought through. Okay. So you can do that. And if it's right for you, if it truly is in alignment with your soul's purpose and your current present vibrational energy, it will come through. Now, like anything, there are positive and negative. There's yin and yang. There's good and bad, whatever you want to call it. There are opposing forces in the universe. And just as there are positive, helpful, loving, healing energies, there are also energies that are more destructive. And you can put that into whatever lens you look at that through. So, whenever you want to ask for something like this, you need to be in a really good space. No fear, no worry, no hatred or anger, no resentment or jealousy. Just be in a loving space and ask for the gift of healing from the highest source. And then that's what you'll get. Okay. So that's really important to know. The universe meets you where you're at. So if you tend to be a very negative person, you're probably not going to connect necessarily to the right energies, or the energies that maybe you're thinking you're going to connect to, because your vibration matters. It's just like if you are a very negative person, you probably won't have a lot of friends who are overly positive, because it's not a match. There's no resonance there in that way, and vice versa. So if you tend to be a pretty positive person, and somebody who's more negative comes around, maybe they always see things in a negative way, and they come around, you're not going to resonate with them. So you're going to do what you can to not be around them. It's the same kind of thing. These energies, you can think of them as conscious. They are loving, they're beautiful, they have an intention of their own to heal and help you ascend in your soul's journey. So when you're working with energy, you can give it intention. You can say, okay, this person's right knee is hurting. I want to send this energy to the right knee to help it heal. Or you can just say, I want this energy to come in for whatever's for the highest good for my soul's purpose, or both. You can do both. And I always like to do both because when I have somebody coming in for a specific issue, they want healing for that issue, whatever it may be. It could be an emotional wounding, or it could be they feel stuck, or it could be something physical. Um, so whatever it is, I always intend that in my prayer to the universe to help with the healing. But I also intend that whatever is for the highest good. A lot of times I find people that come to me, they're coming for a physical reason or something that's showing up in their physical reality, but the universe has other ideas in mind. They wanted them to come for something more important, overall, which is maybe their mission work or something like that. So I do a lot of work for people to get unstuck in their mission and to move forward and really access who they are and work through their fears. So it's funny how everything works, and this energy is amazing. You can do so much with it. And you can even connect to the energies of crystals. Crystals, even Tesla evidently said that crystals are alive. They have a consciousness. And I do believe that very deeply. I believe that. And it seems foreign to a lot of us because we're not taught about that. But everything is energy. And even the computer you're watching this through, or your phone that you're watching this through, it's an energy, and it's vibrating in such a way that it's solid. So if you think of everything in terms of energy and vibration and frequency, you'll start to understand what energy really is. And they call it subtle energy because it's very hard to detect for the average person. You have to be able to be attuned to it. So I always say in my classes, it's something like, imagine a dog whistle. It's at a very high pitch where most humans can't hear it, but there are some who can. And you could tune yourself or train yourself to hear it. So same thing with different colors and frequencies and sound frequencies. There's such a wide array of things that you're not aware of that's going on all around you. For example, some people see spirits, some people don't. It's a frequency. They're seeing that frequency where the other people have tuned it out. And there's all kinds of stories about kids, people who used to see things when they were kids, but as they grew older, they just learned how to tune it out, and then they don't see it anymore. I've done classes where we practice seeing auras, and all of a sudden people are starting to see auras and they've never seen them before. It's because they're tuning in. They're selecting that right frequency to tune into. And sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. And when you start trying to know these things, it starts opening up for you. So if you really want to be able to access energy, healing frequencies, and be able to feel this subtle energy more in your life, then there are certain things you have to do. So you have to get into a peaceful presence. You have to be in a loving state of mind to connect with this, or else you're not going to get the right kind of energy to connect to. You want to really practice meditating and connecting, because that will help get you into the right brain state, the right frequency, so that you can attract the right energy to come through. Working with your guides and angels is another big thing that you could do to help you access these things. And prayer. I'm a big fan of prayer and meditation, of course. Prayer is really important. So there are all many different types of ways to access that level of consciousness that you need to be in to be gifted the ability to channel in or tune into these energies. Some things that you can do that I often do with classes is, you can take your hands and just kind of rub them together, get them energized, and tell your hands to open. You have chakras in the palm of each hand. Tell your chakras to open and imagine them opening, imagine them becoming very bright, and just feel them opening, feel the energy in them. From rubbing it, you're activating things. So you can also clap, rub, and activate, and just intend that you're activating your hands and that you want to feel your own presence, your own subtle energy. Okay. And then you could do something like this. You could bring your hands together and see what you feel. So I feel a lot more tingling when I do this and some warmth. And I also feel almost like it's almost like there's a resistance between my hands, like they don't want to come together. Now, some people feel it more as a magnetism. So you might, just notice what you're feeling. It's not a right or a wrong. You might feel pulsing in your hands. And you might say, but something like pulsing, well, maybe it's just blood flow because you just did this. Maybe it could be. But what you could do is you could intend to then put that up against someone else's hand and have them not do this. And you're warming up your energy. And then you're intending for the energy to flow through your hands. And then you meet someone else's hand that's not yours. And then see what they feel or see what you feel. And you might notice that it feels different than when you put your hands together, or they might feel you, they might feel, ooh, that I feel a lot of warmth coming. So there's different ways to play around with that. So those are just some ways you can access your own energy. And if you're into crystals, you find them pretty or whatever, some people just collect them because they think they're pretty. They're really useful in healing. And you can feel crystals. So like I have one right here. You can feel the energy of the crystal. But again, you have to tune into it. So you can practice with this. And every crystal feels different. So this is a brown tourmaline, and I use it for clearing and channeling. And so you can hold it and just see what you feel. So this feels like a very high vibrational, like a buzzy, but it's very high, like it's real fast. It's very high vibrational. Um, Sometimes it feels more peaceful, more loving. So you could just try, if you have any crystals laying around, just feel them, see what you notice, and you're tuning into subtle energy. You could also tune into the people around you, feel into, of course, with their permission. I don't like ever, having people just tune into random people without permission. I think that's an invasion of privacy energetically, because there's a lot of information you can get when you tune into somebody. But tune into somebody with their permission and just see what you start to feel. What subtle energy hits are you getting from their presence? Are you feeling an emotion? Are you feeling a sudden pain in your body? Are you feeling stress or worry? What are you noticing? Just feel into it, or you might get a sudden, like maybe a little bit of a headache or something. It all means something. We all read each other's energy all the time, but we don't even realize we do it. So we all feel subtle energy. We just don't recognize it. And sometimes it's hard to call upon it because we don't know how. It's not like a tuned in gift yet, but you can. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope you find it beneficial in trying to access these energies in your life. It is very real. It is not woo-woo crazy stuff. It's absolutely real. And once you start tuning into it, you'll never go back. It'll be like, oh my gosh, this is very real. I can feel this. There's nothing like it. When I first took my first energy healing class, well, first I got trained in how to do spiritual clearings, which was very interesting and started opening up my gifts. But then I didn't feel the energy coming from my hands until I took a Reiki 1 class. And then that's when I realized, oh, this is really real. Because after the attunement, I started feeling so much energy. And with every class I took, I felt more and more and more energy, and more of my gifts opened up. So it is important to take classes for a lot of us because there's a mechanism through which it can open you up to your gifts and sensing these energies. So I hope that's helpful. And if you found it beneficial, please like, share, and subscribe, and forward it, please. All right. Take care, guys. Bye.